The video game song with lyrics genre is the most depraved mixture of video games and music you can find on the internet. Listen to too many and suddenly your perception of good music is permanently altered and you find yourself on Recty's Patreon list. It goes without saying that I was indoctrinated early. I was like 6 when I first came across Papa Yoshi and Baby Mario, and by the time I was 8 I was all buttered up for Undertale the musical. I have a pretty long history with the lyrics genre, spanning about like 7 years or so. At one point I even wanted to make my own, but thank god I didn't, instead made respectable music like So I think I'm qualified to talk about this. It also gives me an excuse to make fun of Toxic P on the channel, which I just have to do. I'd be a fool to not start with the person who popularized this entire genre, Brent Floss. While I haven't experienced much of his stuff, I've seen enough to get his whole deal. Brent Floss made his first lyrical cover 17 years ago. He's a pioneer of the genre, though the intention of his videos are a lot different than most other video creators. These were just made to like be funny. Whether it's actually funny or not depends on how well you think a specific video has aged, because once again, 17 years old, but I think most videos can get at least a chuckle out of you. Even the Tetris with lyrics one, that's just him singing about how Tetris is for girls, is like kinda funny. I also remember the Kirby with lyrics video he did that was just Kirby's going to eat everyone, and the only way to keep yourself safe is to poop your pants because he hates the taste of feces. He also has sex with your girlfriend. I think the funniest thing is the video has a content warning for edgy 2010s comedy. I wonder why. Though obviously the video I remember the most, and the one that introduced me to this entire genre, was Papa Yoshi and Baby Mario. It's the most popular video on Brent Floss's channel, so I probably don't need to talk about it, but how can I pass up the opportunity to talk about the Yoshi Flu? Strangely enough, I don't just remember watching this video, I remember watching a video of somebody watching the video on their PS3 for some reason. I think it's funny that the video starts off like a standard Brent Floss parody, where the joke is, ho ho ho, Yoshi doesn't want to protect Baby Mario, he just wants to eat him. But eventually evolves into the entirely different, surprisingly wholesome joke of Yoshi raising Baby Mario like a father. He even resisted the urge to make a dumping Yoshi down the pit joke. For a video game YouTuber in the 2010s, that's restraint. Other than that though, Brent Floss is kinda just the guy that kickstarted the degradation of my music taste. I respect all that he's done, but the real insanity comes after him. Undertale had a massive impact on my life, probably for the worse. And you know what I love listening to? Undertale fan songs. Tryhard Ninja, JT Music, Random Encounters. I'm not bringing you up again, you can't make me! But my list of acceptable fan songs was starting to run dry, and I was going through heavy withdrawals. But then, like a beautiful siren in the middle of a stormy sea, Undertale the musical, Ghost Fight, made itself known to me with an alluring melody. And just like a siren, it proceeded to drag me to the depths, never to be seen again. You literally can't bring up Undertale songs with lyrics without bringing up Man on the Internet's Undertale the musical. They weren't the first to do it, yeah, but they were surely the first to make it popular. Yeah, Brent Floss was pretty popular at the time, but people didn't put out his lyrics videos on because they wanted good music. I hope. They put them on because they were funny. At the time, Man on the Internet popularized the notion that, hey, maybe video game songs with lyrics don't have to be about Kirby cucking you. Undertale the Musical was a project spearheaded by one Alex Beckham of Man on the Internet, which unlike the name, is actually at least 70 men on the internet used gender neutrally. Yeah, this team is massive, though I doubt it was anywhere near that big when it first started. They still had enough people to create a project attempting to make lyrical covers of a good chunk of Undertale, aptly naming it Undertale the Musical. Not to be confused with Undertale the Musical, which you could consider a lyrical cover of Bad Romance. They ended up doing 41 songs for the pacifist route, and the first video I ever saw of the series was of Ghost Fight. Now, the first song chronologically is Bone Trousel, and in comparison to every song after, it's quite an enigma. First of all, the lyrics are an adaptation of a much older lyrical cover of Bone Trousel called Papyrus Makes a Mixtape, which had its fair share of popularity, and by that I do mean it had a My Little Pony version and a Minecraft Story Mode version. Probably the funniest thing about this song is that the voice work was done by Sean Chiplock, who you may recognize as Revali from The Legend of Zelda, or Kinger from The Amazing Digital Circus, or Guido Meester from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or this guy. And since we're on the topic, a fair share of Undertale the Musical songs have their lyrics adapted from some other creators' version, the most prominent one I can think of being Radix Music. But I've gone this long without actually talking about the song, so I'll get to them later. Okay, well the song, it's definitely something. It's one of the only two songs in the series to really lean into the musical aspect, to its detriment, but shh! I have to say now that I've been cursed to have these voices be how I hear Undertale characters in my head. To be fair, it's not like these voices stray far from the common voice headcanons for Undertale characters. Papyrus sounds like Skeletor, Sand sounds like Moist Critical, Megaton sounds like Alexander Von Koopa, the status quo remains statusing. Though, if Flowey's voice was a Ronald McDonald impression, then it would be perfect. The Men on the Internet cast are genuinely very talented voice actors, singers are not so much. Okay, I don't think they're horrible or anything, though I was indoctrinated early, and maybe I may be one of them. But listening to some of these songs can get kind of painful. Maybe just because they're trying to sing while also doing the silly Undertale voices. They initially interwove comic dubs with the Undertale the musical tracks, and those are a lot better, you know, because they're comics. The joke is gonna land even if Naftali doesn't start singing. As I said earlier, the original run of Undertale the musical focused on the neutral and pacifist roots, which meant they were skipping over the most popular song to come out of Undertale. So the fans were not particularly pleased, and by that I mean rabid. So at first, men on the internet made a joke cover explaining why Megalovania wasn't going to be covered, and then Alex, the man on the internet, uploaded a cover of the song to his own channel. And people thought he stole his own voice from men on the internet to make it. And then they finally announced the Undertale the Musical Genocide package, which gave us Megalovania and oh dear god.
That was really bad.
I get music's supposed to be like emotional and experimental, but it's also supposed to be good. But the Megalo saga doesn't end there, for some reason. Enter Juno Songs, a part of man on the internet who posts his own lyrical covers to his own channel. For some reason, he also started making Megalovania troll videos, because people started asking him for Megalovania, but like the Smash Ultimate version. So he started making Megalovania covers sung by completely random characters, and one that just wasn't a Megalovania cover, but a cover of that one Sword and Shield song Toby Fox composed, that apparently has the melody for a Homestuck Emperor fan song he made to piss off the admins of a forum. I don't know, man, I'm just a jar of jam in front of a pantry PNG. Eventually, Juno made a big video with a bunch of characters singing Megalovania, and let the audience submit characters that he would use. I, of course, asked for Gooey from Kirby, and didn't get picked. And this is the reason I don't like Juno's songs, and not because he made the FNF with lyrics polka. After Undertale the musical fully finished, men on the internet proceeded to just make covers of whatever they felt like, only making one other big musical project since, being Chrono Trigger the musical. After that, I kinda just stopped watching the channel, though I briefly tuned into the Deltarune stuff they did. Man on the internet wasn't the only Undertale lyrical cover content I consumed though, cause you know I'm not lousy when it comes to bad taste. The next few songs I'm gonna mention don't really have any correlation besides me having very specific animations linked with them, but since they're not from any creators I've followed, I think it's fine to just bunch them up. If anyone remembers when Glitch Tale was about Undertale characters and not getting documents written about you, you'll probably remember this first one. And if you don't know what a Glitch Tale is, thank god. The first ever episode of Glitch Tale was a fight animation that Sans Undertale against Kara. Nope, that's not it. Synced to a somber piano cover of Megalovania. Technically it's like a mashup because there's a bit of Bergen Trucking and the Undertale leitmotif, you know the one, but it's 90% Megalovania. This wasn't Glitch Tale's cover, and I remember coming across the original, but they seem to have deleted it since then. The comments don't seem to load on the Wayback Machine archive, but I remember the creator being frustrated over people thinking they stole a song from Glitch Tale, so I hope that's not why it's deleted, but it probably is. I don't really have anything to say about this next one, it's just some spider dance animation I listened to. It's another like somber like music box instrumental cover, which I'm definitely not complaining about. I feel like more of these lyric covers should remix the actual song too, that way they're not fighting over a track that was never meant to be sung over. And finally, we have this Battle Against a True Hero animation that I only barely remember watching, and oh my god. Take what I just said. I feel like more of these lyric covers should remix the actual song too, that way they're not fighting over a track that was never meant to be sung over. And multiply it by 1,000,000. I don't remember it being this good. It's sung by an artist named Jen, who I'm not familiar with outside of this video, but they seem to be still doing music, which is cool. It's technically a Frankenstein of stuff from different artists, like lyrics from Radix Music, who I will get into, an orchestral cover, which has sadly been deleted, and backing vocals from Kamikat, who I won't get into. But what Jen brings to this table is really good. This is part why I shield the artists I don't listen to. Boys and girls, let's talk about the Greek tragedy of Radix Music. I don't have anywhere near of an attachment to this guy compared to like man on the internet, but I remember watching a lot of his lyrical covers, specifically Your Best Nightmare and Hopes and Dreams, which made my left eyebrow all the more raised when I heard some familiar lyrics in the subsequent Undertale musical covers. I'm sure Radix was fine with man on the internet using his lyrics, since apparently he is on the team, but it just comes off a bit strange to me. Radix continued to make music throughout the release of Deltarune's first chapter, then suddenly he just stopped uploading. He continued to work with man on the internet behind the scenes, but the channel itself just became like silent. And I was certain he'd just be another lingering memory of the Undertale fandom. But 4 years later, I got recommended a lyrical cover of Pandora Palace from Deltarune Chapter 2, made by someone named Kamidrian, and I thought it was really good. It's a cover that actually remixes the track to accommodate the new vocals. This Kamidrian guy really knows what they're doing. I wonder if we all know where this is going. Kamidrian equals Radix Music. I'm sure there's some way you could say that 3 days and 4 years have a correlation, that Kamidrian is a modern Jesus Christ. Recti is the Antichrist. Now, I don't have much to talk about regarding this next one, but I gotta mention Edobean, or I will physically die. She made a Hopes and Dream cover following her playthrough of Undertale, And while it's not like amazing or anything, it has a charm to it that just made me keep on coming back, even though one of the lyrics is killing is bad. I don't know, it's just nice. Edo's been doing this for over 17 years. That nearly surpasses Brent Floss, and yet she hasn't gotten anywhere near the amount of recognition that anybody else I've mentioned has. Amidst her music, she would also do Let's Plays. Though it seems in that department she's moved on to greener pastures, but that I do mean she's a VTuber now. Now I'm all ready to wrap up this portion of the video, but there's something telling me that there's someone I've neglected to mention. Something that's festering inside of me, ready to erupt like a volcano. But what could that be? You see, I was going to read this name really fast and explode, but there's no way I'm doing that within 100 takes. So instead, I will calmly read their name out and then explode. KHTLL. KHTLL33 is a name that I'm not certain anybody else remembers. Probably because it's KHTLL33. I'm just gonna call him Zevo because that's what they go by now. Remember the name KHTLL33, it'll be on the quiz. If I remember Edo Bean's Hopes and Dreams cover for its jank, I remember Zevo's covers for their pure awfulness, and I say this completely endearingly. They stopped doing these a long time ago, so I'm sure they're fine with me saying that these were not good at all. Despite that, Zevo's voice is practically engraved into my head. Probably because they didn't bother doing like any impressions, it was always just like them. And all things considered, their singing voice is very pleasant, but it's layered on top of autotune that's somehow both subtle and distracting. And the lyrics of all time. I feel kind of bad for dunking on this random creator who very clearly just did these because they were passionate, but there's really no good way to sugarcoat this, and I'm generally very endeared to their covers, and I want the whole world to know their glory. Also, everyone I make fun of has more subscribers than me, so it's not punching down, it's punching up. So yeah, Zevo, I hope you're doing well, and I mean that genuinely. I say that like you're watching, which I hope you're not. And then my Undertale obsession kind of crashed and burned. And then Deltron came out and burst back to life. And then I got back into the Kirby series. And after that, I got into Friday Night Funkin'. If only there was a channel that shared my interests and made lyrical covers pertaining to them.
Hey there, little pink guy, how'd you like to die by cherry bomb?
That's okay, you can keep it.
Wreck-D. Where do I even begin, like genuinely? Because the only place to start is the beginning.
Birds of a feather flock together, especially multicolored birds who have no wings or legs. But it now seems
This
that
is
those
14
big
years
things
old.
want to make it.
I first discovered this channel through the Jevil with Lyrics video he did, which was made specifically to promote the Undertale musical he was making that nobody watched. And it surprisingly worked. Well, the video got 2 million views, but still nobody watched his musical. And in response to his overwhelming attention, he made a 1-hour loop. But Jeremy, you may ask, that's pretty normal these channels, why do you bring it up? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's not the only thing he made of this. Enter Jevil Wheelchair Parody that he publicly regrets making, Jevil but every word is placed with chaos, Jevil but he's a car,
Here's my car.
and don't forget the 50k subscriber special, Jevil but he's fighting a furret, so he started making lyrical covers of that one furret walking meme. Several of them. I haven't even mentioned the Creeper Aw Man Jevil parody yet. You wanna hear me talk about that, right? He made a lot more Deltarune lyrical covers, but who actually cares? Let's talk about what he did with Kirby.
Hey there, little pink guy, how'd you like to die by cherry bomb?
Yeah, Wreck-D would make songs for pretty much everything that was popular, like Poppy Playtime, and Poppy Playtime, and Poppy Playtime, and Pizza Tower. So here's a popular indie game all about music, and here's my will. I'm giving everything I own to Lozen. FNF the Musical started off very simple with just dad battle with lyrics, then Spooky's real lyrics, and then suddenly I blinked and this is happening.
Girlfriend, you can't keep doing this! His soul belongs in heaven!
His soul belongs to me.
This time was
I don't think I could ever begin to explain what was going through Wreck-D's head when he tried fleshing out his own story for the series. And now he's working on the mascot horror game made by the only FNF people who aren't pedophiles, and asking for $50,000 to give their 2-hour game a second chapter. Oh, hi Mamie Mayo. She got popular for her FNF lyrical covers, even though they sound like this.
What the fuck did you say to me, little monkey?
And that pretty much covers every channel that plagued my life with their incidental music. I don't listen to these anymore, but I still look back at them fondly, since dumb little baby Jim used to be obsessed with them. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've been wanting to do this for a really long time, and oh, Toxic P, didn't think you were safe, did you? About like 3 years ago, a particular person got popular in the Kirby community for making lyrical covers of songs from the new game Kirby in the Forgotten Land. These took a more Brent Floss approach to lyrical covers by listing them in humor, though they forgot to be actually funny, which is pretty important when making something like this. This individual is Toxic P, devout Christian and meme enthusiast. He's also the only person I've talked about who had to make 3 different public apologies. Just take a minute to read this. Oh, Toxic P, you're no Brent Floss.
This is the game girls deserve. There is no learning curve, which makes it great for noobs. It will fill you with glee, especially.
He taught me how